Okay, this is the second tutorial in the Inkscape series. In this tutorial, I will teach you how to create this funky text here. This is great for use in logos, and it just kind of gives you a little more complex look with your text. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing you're going to do is go ahead and grab your text tool here. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to come out here. And for this purpose, I'm going to do Mr. Herbert. Okay. Now, once I do my text and I hit F1, I have it selected. So remember, F1 gets my selection tool. Now I can go ahead and make it the size I'd like it. Now, as I'm resizing, I am holding the control button, and that keeps perspective. If I let go, it can kind of stretch my the look I have. So again, I'm holding the control button, and I'm going to make it about the same size as what I have up above. Okay. All right, so that'll work. I want to point out really quickly, for this one, guys, if you can just start with Show Card Gothic, that's a nice thick text, and we'll do these again in some other logo creation projects. But if everybody could just use that Show Card Gothic to get started, it's a nice thick text, and then we're all working with the same thing. You could do your name. You could do a club you're part of, something school oriented. That could be fine with your text. So again, I have my initial text, and I'm going to hit F1 again because I want my selection tool. So really, all you're going to do is do a Control D. And what Control D does is duplicate your text or whatever object you're on. Now, once I've done a Control D, I have a copy. I'm going to go to Object. I'm going to go to Path, and then Dynamic Offset. So once you click Dynamic Offset, you get on your Nodes tool by default. Now, this is a node here, so you'll see what this does. So if I pull this node out, it's going to resize it uniformly, your text, and you'll see in a moment what it does. So I'm going to resize it, make it bigger, and I'm going to change the color of that. And I'm going to go ahead and make it red. And then all you have to do is find your page down button and hit page down. And then it sends it to back. Okay, so I have one layer. I'm going to do one more layer. So again, I'm going to hit F1. And now I have this red text selected, so I'm going to duplicate that, Control D, and again I'm going to go to Path, Dynamic Offset, and then I'm going to make that one just a little bigger, and let's see, that one I'm going to make orange, and then I'm going to hit page down once and page down again. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now if you want to do another one, you could just follow that process. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to do 3. If you want to do one more, it's really quick, that'd be fine with me. Okay, so I'm going to hit F1, and I want to fix this spot right here. Okay, so right now I have the orange one, and I really want that red one. So there I have the black, and if I can zoom in, I'm going to select. So to zoom in, I'm just holding Control and rolling in, and I really just want that red one. Okay. So I'm going to zoom back out, and I have that selected. Now, here's a great trick so that we move it straight up and straight down so it doesn't get askew. As I move it, I'm going to hold Control. This then locks it on a straight down, locks it on a straight down. Okay. And really, I'm going to Control Z that because I actually want to get that red. And I'll show you what we're going to fix. So I don't really like that little hole there, and I want this to be solid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on my Nodes tool, and then I'm going to come up here to Path and say Object to Path. So what I get is all these little nodes now. And then I'm just going to do a marquee selection, draw a window around those nodes, and hit delete. So now it's gotten rid of that, and then I'm actually going to get rid of this one too. Okay, So then I'm gonna hit F1 to get my selection tool, hold Control, and move it back up into place. So it just looks a little cleaner, and we don't have that kind of hole there in our text. Okay, so that go ahead and get you started. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to show you how to add the shine feature. So what we're going to do is we're going to duplicate your original text. So I'm going to do a Control D, and I'm just going to move that down here to work with. Okay. So the next thing you're going to use is a new tool, and you'll get to know this tool quite a bit. It's called the Bezier tool. So I'm going to go ahead and select that Bezier tool, and what you want to do is just draw, kind of split your text, and this will be the top part of your shine. Okay, and then I'm going to go all the way around, and then I'm going to close out the polygon. Okay, so I have that polygon. I'm going to hit F1. Right away it's selected. We need to select both the path and the text. So to do that, you just hold Shift and then click on the text. So now I have them both selected. What you're going to do is go to Path, and what we want to do is do the intersection. So again, Path, intersection. And what that does is it just kind of gives us that intersection piece. Okay. So now we're gonna edit the fill and stroke here. Again, if you don't have that fill and stroke open, remember it's under Object, Fill and Stroke. Okay. So I'm on my object. I have my fill and stroke dialog box. Let's first do the fill. So the fill you actually want to be white, and if you have stroke, you would want that to be white as well. But I'm going to go ahead and say no stroke. Okay. So now I'm going to move that piece up just over the top of my text. And here's a nice feature in Inkscape, guys. If you're having trouble getting on it, you can simply use your arrows to get it as close as you can to be right matched up with your text. So really all we do now is bring the opacity. So the opacity is really how you can see through it. Okay, so right now it's 100%. So I'm going to bring that down to about, no, I'm going to go down just a hair more. So I'm about 12, and you kind of got to eyeball it, but you can see what that does. It kind of gives me that shine, and I'm actually going to bring it down a hair more. Maybe too much, and you just kind of eyeball it. So what it does, it gives us a shine, kind of a glossy look to our text, makes it look a lot better. So now I'm done with this set of text. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select all of these and do a Control G. And what that does is it groups all of this. So now it's one solid object. So if we're going to use it in a logo, it wouldn't be so easy to move, or hard to move around. It's much easier to move when it's all grouped. Okay. So what I would do for this tutorial, you're going to end up posting your text that you created on a wiki page on the Moodle. So let's talk about saving. So I'm going to go File, Save As, and you really need to save two types of documents. So I'm going to go, and there's my business software folder in my Inkscape folder. Okay, so let's talk about file types. So the Inkscape file type is .svg. Much like a Microsoft Word document is DOX, the Inkscape file type again is SVG. You always save a SVG. What this allows you to do is then open it and edit it again just like you were right in your original document. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. And let's go ahead and save this project as funky text. Okay. So I'm going to hit save. Okay, now that's the first type you use. You always save a SVG. Now, we cannot post SVGs to the web. We need a more universal type of file format. So what you're going to do is go File, Export Bitmap. Okay, so what this does is it exports a PNG, which is a portable networks graphic, which you can see here. Now it gives it a goofy file name, guys, so I'm going to go ahead and, again, I'm going to call this funky text. And then, actually I'm going to show you one more thing, sorry. So if you do the page, it's going to do the whole thing. If you do the drawing, it's only going to do this. What you really want to do is select what you want to export and then say selection. Okay, so again, I'm going to go in. I put it in my Inkscape folder and I'm going to call it funky text. Okay. Now I don't want that SVG in there because that'll. So I'm saving it as a PNG. So if I hit save. Okay, so now I've told it. Now I just need to hit export, and it'll quickly export it. So if I go to my file now, I actually have two files here. One being the SVG, and one being the PNG. So let me show you what the difference is. So you can see the SVG you would open in Inkscape if you needed to go back in, I wanted to change some colors or something. The funky text will show up as fireworks. And if I go and open that, you'll see all it exported for me was my actual text. It did not export all of my other features, meaning all my other artboard or the other text that I had. All it exported is the single piece of text. And I'm just waiting for it to open here. Okay, so as you can see, not only did it only export my text, it also put it on a clear background for me. Whenever you see these checkerboards, that signifies it's transparent, which means we could put it on a background and nothing else would show up besides my text. Okay, so that is the funky text tutorial. Go ahead and get ready to move on to the third tutorial, which you'll learn how to make a convex logo.